Hello, and welcome to Delaware Valley University. Our ceremony will begin in approximately 5 minutes. Please begin to locate your seats. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations. Welcome to Delaware Valley University. Our ceremony will begin momentarily. Please find your way to your seats. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations to our graduates, families, and friends.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 122nd Commencement Ceremony of Delaware Valley University. I'm Ben Russellowski and I have the pleasure and privilege of serving Del Val as its Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of the Faculty. Will you please rise for the playing of the National Anthem? Please be seated. Before we continue, it is a bit of a tradition here that Dr. Very and I make sure that you have a couple of keepsakes from commencement. On your way in today, you received a commemorative mask to help keep you safe from COVID-19 and an umbrella and sunscreen to keep you safe from the elements. The message, of course, is always to be prepared for whatever may lie ahead. We're not sure, however, that you need this advice. You have all shown resilience and determination in the past year as you played the hand that the pandemic dealt you. There is nothing in your future that you won't be able to tackle when you couple your Del Val education with your experiences of the past 14 months. You've got this today and moving forward, and we are all very proud of you. It is now my honor and pleasure to introduce Mr. Majid Al-Saya, Chair of the Board of Trustees of Delaware Valley University.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the class of 2021 commencement exercise of Delaware Valley University. My name is Majid Al-Saya, and I have the very high honor of chairing the university's Board of Trustees. I would ask that you please join me, my board colleagues, and the entire faculty, staff, and administration of the university in being among the first to congratulate our graduating students. We also gather to wish you Godspeed as you go forth to join the legions of Delaware Valley University alumni and alumni who have gone before you. You are adding to this university's reputation and fame. Delaware Valley University was founded upon the values of Rabbi Joseph Kraskoff, values that include honoring diversity and seeking knowledge. As we begin this year, this 125th anniversary year, I ask each of you to think about your own personal values. Seek to align your values in your personal lives and in the workplace. Both success and happiness come from living your values in every aspect of your life. Today is an important day in your lives, and it's also an important day in the life of this university. I want to take a moment to recognize and congratulate Dr. Maria Gallo on her recent appointment as Chancellor at the University of Wisconsin, River Falls, starting this coming July. During her 5 years of leadership at Delaware Valley University, Dr. Gallo created a comprehensive strategic plan and a new vision to be a leader in experiential education, empowering all learners to transform the world. A testament to that vision occurred when the university's experiential learning program, Experience 360, was honored with the 2019 Outstanding Experiential Education Program Award by the National Society of Experiential Education. During her tenure, freshman fall-to-fall retention rates also significantly rose, and the most recent career outcomes rate is the highest rate in the history of Del Val at 94.4%. Thank you. Dr. Gallo also helped the university thoughtfully expand its graduate program offerings to include health science degrees, which will support the increased need for leadership professionals with master's degree in the healthcare field. Dr. Gallo has also made access and equity university-wide priorities. Dr. Gallo established the President's Commission on Diversity and Inclusion, as well as the Division of Campus Life and Inclusive Excellence. She's also served on numerous community, state, and national boards, thereby raising the profile of Delaware Valley University. The entire Delaware Valley University community wishes Dr. Gallo the best for her next chapter in her career. It's now my privilege to introduce to you the 13th President of Delaware Valley University, Dr. Maria Gallo.
There you go. I need a little extra height there to come up on. Well, thank you, Chairman Alsaya, for those kind words. But today is all about you, members of Delaware Valley University's class of 2021. Congratulations to each and every one of you. I know I speak for the entire Del Val family when I say how proud and happy we are to celebrate your achievements today. And they are remarkable achievements. You are truly a part of history. All of our lives changed dramatically in March of 2020. When the pandemic hit, the entire Del Val community worked together to quickly switch to remote learning so that you could complete the semester and get ready for your senior year. It was a senior year that I'm sure was so different from the way you dreamed it would be. You had to do things that were out of the ordinary. Wear masks, adopt safety protocols in classrooms and labs, socially distance, get randomly tested, take daily symptom screens, plus refrain from gathering with many of your friends, something that in normal times is a vital part of the college experience. Del Val's amazing success in staying open during this COVID-19 pandemic is your story. We beat the odds. We stayed open when many other universities were forced to switch largely or entirely to remote learning because you persevered and kept your eye on the goal. However, the pandemic has taken an enormous toll. We remember those who lost their lives in this pandemic and those who suffered in countless ways. Yet, at the same time, we must acknowledge the human spirit that allows us to keep pushing forward despite the setbacks. There is a quote by the Canadian spoken word poet Buna Muhammad that has resonated with me during this time. He said, "Sometimes you find yourself in the middle of chaos, and sometimes in the middle of chaos, you find yourself." I hope at the very least that you have had the time to better understand yourself and where you want to go at this stage of life. What is certain, class of 2021, is that you have grit as well as a passion for learning. You completed your courses, found E360 activities to do during the global pandemic. You worked hard under difficult circumstances, and you succeeded. Your ability to work through the challenges of the past 14 months will serve you well for the rest of your lives. I have no doubt that you will continue to be resilient and successful. I've had the privilege to get to know many of you over the years at athletic events, award ceremonies, A-Day, Founders Day, and more. I want to highlight a few specific accomplishments from members of the class of 2021 to illustrate how remarkable Aggies are. When COVID-19 shut down much of the community, Sydney Paz lost her summer job. She met with her coach and her faculty advisor and mapped out a plan to graduate today, a year early. She took additional courses since her extracurricular activities were impacted. And Zuzana Penkowska, a business major from Poland, has already started working on her Delval MBA. She will be with us one more year to complete this 4+1 graduate program. Aaron Worthington is a 7th-generation dairy farmer whose mother also attended Delval. Aaron plans to work on the family farm right here in beautiful Bucks County. Jaylene Beach and Emily Davis have both been accepted to Cornell University's School of Veterinary Science this fall. These are just a few examples of the talent in this year's class. Today, we're in a growing knowledge-based economy, and to succeed, you need the right skill sets. Graduates, you are well prepared to go out and apply these skills immediately because you received an education steeped in experiential learning, which is our legacy and our future. Your knowledge of One Health, the interconnectedness of people, animals, and the environment, will inform your impact on the world in important ways. Whether you work as a veterinarian or pursue a career in the growing healthcare industry, whether you are a teacher or a policymaker, whether you are an entrepreneur with a new product or service, or a storyteller, making us think of our world in new ways. Whatever career path you choose, your understanding of the interconnectedness of all of us on this planet will serve you well. You are the generation that will need to address the unprecedented challenges facing our society and our planet. And I, for one, feel confident that you are up to the challenge. I'm so pleased to honor this resilient Delval class of 2021. My hope for each of you is to continue to be proud of the education you worked so hard to get, to use your knowledge for the betterment of our world, and to thrive in all parts of your life. Thank you, everyone. It has been an honor for me to serve the university, and congratulations, graduates, and go Aggies.
Thank you, Dr. Gallo. I'm pleased to introduce Mr. Joseph Chip Krauskopf, Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees of Delaware Valley University and great-grandson of our founder, Rabbi Joseph Krauskopf, who will announce our first Young Alumni Trustee.
Thank you, Dr. Ben. Hello, class of 2021. Wow, this is super exciting, I have to say. It's nice to be out and be among you all and to actually be seeing human beings again. On behalf of the University Board of Trustees, I'm delighted to have the opportunity to announce Delaware Valley University's inaugural Young Alumni Trustee, or as we like to say, YAT. I could not be prouder to see the university add a YAT, as I first introduced the idea of the position when I saw it announced at my son's graduation at another school 2 years ago. Since that time, I've had the pleasure of spearheading the planning efforts for Delval's YAT, which was added to the board last fall in order to strengthen the board's relationship with our current students and young alumni, enrich the board with fresh ideas and new perspectives, and to give a greater voice to students and young alumni. The Young Alumni Trustee was selected following an intensive process that started with a campus-wide call for nominations and culminated in candidates meeting with members of the board's Committee on Trusteeship. That committee selected one individual to recommend to the board for election as a Young Alumni Trustee, and the board has approved that recommendation. So, it is my honor and privilege to announce that Chloe Sees has been elected as this year's Young Alumni Trustee. Chloe earned her degree in secondary education, specializing in agriculture, from Del Val in December of 2020, and is now a teacher at Warrior Run School District in central Pennsylvania. We know that Chloe will be an exemplary representative of Del Val's young alumni as she begins serving on the board this coming fall. Please join me in a round of applause to congratulate Chloe, who will be celebrating her commencement tomorrow, on her election as a Young Alumni Trustee, and wish her well in this important role.
Thank you, Mr. Krauskopf, and congratulations to Chloe. I now have the pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker, Seamus McGraw. Seamus is an award-winning author and journalist. He is the author of A Thirsty Land, The Making of an American Water Crisis, the critically acclaimed The End of Country, Dispatches from the Frack Zone, and Betting the Farm on a Drought, Stories from the Front Line of Climate Change. He is also the author of Jack of Spades, The Very Last Will and Testament of Old Joe, a short story, a work of fiction in which the main character decides to share his truth with his son at the end of his life. McGraw has also been a regular contributor to many publications, including the New York Times, HuffPost, Popular Mechanics, Reader's Digest, The Forward, and more. Seamus has enriched the student experience at Delaware Valley University by serving as a speaker and panelist for events for many years. As a speaker, he has offered insight on pressing social and environmental issues. He has received the Freedom of Information Award from the Associated Press Managing Editors, the Golden Quill Award, as well as honors from the Casey Foundation and the Society of Professional Journalists. A father of four, he lives in the woods of northeastern Pennsylvania with his wife, Karen, and his children. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Seamus McGraw.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Dr. Gallo, trustees. Thank you. We're here to celebrate an accomplishment of yours, and I'd like to doff my cap to you. I'd like to, but it's not my cap. This is a borrowed cap and a borrowed gown I'm wearing today. The achievements they symbolize are, for me, only honorary, gratefully and humbly received, but really I haven't earned it. You have. Each and every one of you, through diligence and hard work, through your own dedication and drive, guided by the talent and experience and creativity of your professors and teachers. Every one of you sitting here today has already achieved in your comparatively short lives greater academic distinction than I ever have, and I am proud to be here with you today to celebrate your achievements. Now, it is a safe bet that this is not the first time that you've been asked to sit quietly and politely and listen while some old white guy who has less of a right to be here than any one of you prattles on about what you ought to do and how you ought to do it. It's an ironclad guarantee that it won't be the last time. Since the beginning of time, it's been an immutable law of the universe that those of us who have made the mess get to lecture those of you who have to clean it up. We get to tell you how to fix what we broke even when we don't have a clue. Don't look at me that way, guys. I didn't make the rules. Then again, maybe I did. Or maybe guys just like me did. And maybe it's time those rules changed. Maybe what I need to do here today is not lecture you, but first apologize to you. Previous graduating classes from this university have been tasked with going out into the world to contend with grave crises, world wars, depressions, social upheaval, and deep divisions in a culture that seems to revel in pitting us one against another. This university was founded in a challenging time, and it has evolved and grown in response to all the challenging times since. But this is a unique era that you are graduating into. And you are in many ways being asked to face all of the challenges that all the classes that came before you faced, and to face them all at once. Unrest and conflict, a planet wounded by the profligacy and thoughtlessness of the generations that came before you, one existential crisis stacked upon another, made worse by the lingering effects of a terrible, deadly global pandemic that has upended the flawed system that we, those of us who left you this mess, helped create. On behalf of everyone born in the years immediately after World War II, let me sincerely and humbly apologize. Now, let me tell you something that many others of my generation won't. I trust you. I believe in you. I've been making trips to this remarkable university for about a decade now, and I have always found this place inspiring. I love what it was founded to be, and I love what it has become. More importantly, I love what you and the other scholars and leaders this school has produced have become. I've had the opportunity to meet many of you over the years, and I can tell you without reservation or fear of contradiction that in every encounter, I have come away with a sense of awe, a sense of respect, and most importantly, a sense of relief. I've spoken at plenty of universities, some with long legacies and prestigious names, but none of them has impressed me as much as this place has. Nothing has made me more confident that we will, that you will, find a way forward than has the time I've gotten to spend here with you. And yet, it's the price I pay for this borrowed gown and a perk of my gray beard that I'm expected to give you some words of advice. I'm supposed to act as if there's something worth considering inside this bald head of mine, and you're constrained by tradition to pretend that you believe there is too. Let's not, shall we? I don't have any practical advice to give you. I'm not a biologist or an agricultural researcher who can point you toward a way to ease suffering and end hunger. I'm not a social scientist who can sketch out a future where our divisions are not so great and confounding. I'm not a scholar of any sort. As those of you who know me know well, I'm just a storyteller. And all I can offer you today is a story. It's kind of a shaggy dog story. You see, a few weeks ago, my old English bulldog, Boudica, was napping on the deck of my remote home in the woods of the far northeastern corner of this state. One of our neighbors, in the middle of the day, decided to exercise his inalienable right to do whatever the hell he wanted to do, whenever the hell he wanted to do it, and he set off a deafening barrage of fireworks. Now, some of you have met Boudica. She's joined me here from time to time, and you know she has a gentle spirit, friendly but timid. The fireworks terrified her, and before we knew she was missing, she lit off over the mountain and vanished into thousands upon thousands of acres of forest that surround us. She was gone, without a trace. For 5 years, that dog had been my constant companion, always at my side. Indeed, before the pandemic bequeathed me a house full of people, she was often my only companion. And so my wife, my children, and I began a frantic and far-flung search for her. We did all the things we were supposed to do. We flooded social media and we tacked up literally thousands of signs and posters. Old friends and new ones made in the moment selflessly volunteered to join us as we scoured the deep woods. Those woods are full of hazards. It was coyote mating season, time when coyotes become particularly aggressive and dangerous. I shuddered when I thought of what they might do to my best friend. There were other mortal dangers to her as well. Those woods are full of bears, ravenous after just waking up from their winter slumber. The creeks that bore through those mountains were full and raging and all but impassable that time of year. And there are, at various points deep in the forest, sudden drop-offs, sheer cliffs that can, without warning, cause a lost soul to be lost forever. Remember, these are the very same woods where just a few years ago, 1,000 cops spent nearly a month searching for a cop-killing fugitive, and now I was searching them. And on my journeys, I found something I hadn't been looking for. I found a sense of real community. I found hope. Complete and total strangers dropped what they were doing and joined the search. At one point, while stumbling into a hollow where I've never been before, I came across a shanty, an off-the-grid compound, really, guarded by fierce-looking dogs and bedecked with flags and banners that bespoke a worldview that was entirely different from my own. A woman, hard-looking, appearing far older than she probably was, eyed me suspiciously. Under any other circumstances, this woman would have viewed an interloper like me as at least a threat and probably an enemy. Such are the times we live in. Such are the times we're asking you to navigate for us. But under these circumstances, she softened. She choked up, actually, when she told me about 2 terrible weeks a few years ago when one of her beloved dogs went missing, and she promised to do everything she could to help me find Boudica. Episodes like that were repeated again and again and again over the next 2 weeks. The search for Boudica became a community effort. I'm not exaggerating when I say that literally hundreds of people participated to some degree in the actual search, doing what they could, and thousands, at least 2,000 that I know of, followed every post on Facebook and Twitter. These were people still under partial lockdown due to the deadly pandemic that was still raging in our corner of the state. These were people who came from every social and ethnic background you could imagine, from every race represented there, from all sides of our cultural fractures, and yet this search drew them together, and it held them together. She'd been missing for 5 days when we got our first reported sighting at an all but abandoned old honeymoon resort about 8 miles northeast of us, along a busy U.S. highway. By the time we got there, of course, she was gone. It was another week before another report came in, and then another and another and another, all of them 10 miles southwest of us, inside a lake community. Again, another community rallied behind us in our search. Strangers let me park my car overnight in their driveways so I could sleep a few hours at a time while continuing the search. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd hear from people who couldn't sleep themselves and decided to go out and take a quick look for Bo. When I traced Boudica's travels on a map, it occurred to me that she appeared to be making a gigantic circle, 20 miles across, with our home, her home, smack dab in the middle. Her homing instincts had kicked in, I thought. But so too, probably, had her survival instincts. It now became a race between those 2 instincts. One which might lead her home. The other that might lead her into even more danger. There would be false alarms, several of them. Sightings of dogs that looked vaguely like Boudica, and I was starting to fear that maybe we had been running after the wrong dog all along. It would be another 4 days before we got the next reliable sighting of her. A guy who lived more than 100 miles away in South Jersey had been viewing the security camera at his weekend home at the lake when he spotted a dog that looked to him a lot like Boudica. He called me. To tell you the truth, I had all but given up hope at that point, convinced that despite the efforts of all the strangers and my own, Boudica was likely to be lost forever. I asked him to send me a picture and a video. He did. It was indeed Boudica. There was no mistaking her. I rushed to the house, and sure enough, I found a track. Just one. It had rained the night before, and in the fresh mud, I found one of Boudica's distinctive split-toe paw marks with a telltale long curved claw on the outside of her right paw. I tried to suss out which direction she had headed, and I clawed my way up through a pile of scree when I saw an older woman playing with what appeared to be her grandson. I called to her from the woods. I startled her. "I'm afraid," she said in an Eastern European accent that I couldn't quite place. "Go away or I'll call the police." I tried to explain that I was just looking for my dog, that I meant her no harm. But I could see that was only agitating her further, and so, as I would a little later, I took off my hat and slowly backed away. I reached out to my wife and told her that she needed to contact the woman, that only a woman could ease her fears. Such are the times we live in. Such are the times we're asking you to navigate for us. For the next 4 hours, there were no more sightings, no sign of Boudica. And then, just as I was about to give up for the night, I got a phone call from some other wonderful strangers, a retired couple from Long Island. "We have our eyes on your dog," they told me. I raced to the location, right on the lakefront, just a few short yards from the spot where the stranger from South Jersey had videotaped her, and there she was. I took off my hat, made myself small, sat down on the ground, and spoke softly to her. Her survival instinct had indeed kicked in. She huffed a warning at me, but she didn't move. She simply stared at me with blank, dark, and empty eyes. Feral. She did not recognize me, and that broke my heart. We sat there for a full 5 minutes, and then something miraculous happened. The darkness vanished from her eyes. She recognized me and came bounding into my arms. There is one coda to this shaggy dog story. As I loaded Boudica into my car, my phone rang. It was the woman who had refused me access to her property earlier in the day. It had by then been explained to her that I meant her no harm and that I had only been searching for my dog. And she apologized over and over again in halting, broken English. I told her that there was no need to apologize, that I understood that I had frightened her, and that I was deeply sorry for that. I wanted to say more. I wanted to say that she had nothing to fear from me and that she had nothing to fear from her neighbors, that they were kind and selfless people who had gone to amazing lengths to aid and comfort a stranger. I wanted to tell her that maybe she too had found her way home. But I couldn't find the words. Maybe there are none. Maybe what I wanted to tell her can really only be expressed in deeds. And maybe that's what I want to tell you too. We're sending you out into the woods. There are great dangers out there. Trust your instincts and trust the way you've honed them during your time in this special place. Draw your circles wide through the woods. And if and when you temporarily lose your way, as almost certainly you will for a time, trust that there are countless people out there, strangers with great hearts, who will help you find your way back home. Because for all of our differences, for all of our false divisions and arbitrary distinctions, that's who we really are. strangers with great hearts. It's time. Go. Get lost. Because the sooner you get lost, the sooner you'll find a way home for all of us.
Thank you, Seamus, for your inspiring message. We have now reached the moment you have all been waiting for, the conferral of your hard-earned degrees. Students who have earned academic honors are designated as follows. Summa cum laude represents the highest academic honors, grade point average of 3.9 to 4.0. Magna cum laude represents high academic honors, grade point average of 3.7 to 3.89. And cum laude represents academic honors, a grade point average of 3.5 to 3.69. It is now time for the graduates to come forth and be recognized. As your name is called by Dr. Casas, please come across the stage to receive your diploma cover. You will then pose where indicated for your photo. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dean Tanya Casas, who will present the degree candidates from the School of Business and Humanities.
President Gallo, members of the Board of Trustees, and honored guests, I have the privilege of announcing the baccalaureate degree candidates from the School of Business and Humanities. The following students are receiving their baccalaureate degrees in Business Administration. Mr. Larry Stelmach, co-chair. Mr. William Veal, co-chair. Joshua Michael Adamski. Tanner Roger Bank. Timothy William Cathers, Jr., summa cum laude. Jesse Kai Ann Chow, magna cum laude. Ryan Cornell Crabtree. Keith Robert Creeley, cum laude. Colin Fasolka. Timothy Friel. Robert Terrell Green. Michael James Hammock, Jr. Joshua Jarrett. Edward Alex Jones, Jr. Haley Keene, cum laude. Brandon Keller, cum laude. Ann Kelly, magna cum laude. Dakota George. Timothy Ryan Lallis, magna cum laude. Sophia Bridget Lehman, cum laude. Sarah Jade Matro. Vanessa McGrath, magna cum laude. David Bryce Messick. William Robert Mitchell. Tanner Moran. Cooper R. Moyer. Madison May Northrup, magna cum laude. Ashley Lynn Nottingham. Susanna Pankowska-Reese, summa cum laude. Hannah Emily Rotenberger, summa cum laude. Matthew Riddick. Quadir Struthers. Isabella Ray Sergio. Matthew Charlton Weibel, magna cum laude. Dana Marie White, summa cum laude. Amanda L. Wilson. The following students are receiving their baccalaureate degree in counseling psychology. Dr. Allison Buskirk Cohen, chair. Amanda Ashton, magna cum laude. Channon Ziska Janae Beckles. Jennifer A. Bell, summa cum laude. Kathleen Brinkos, cum laude. Ashlyn Rain Carmen, summa cum laude. Emily Grover, magna cum laude. Dawson D. Hughes. Jacqueline Cole, magna cum laude. Cassandra E. Curzos, cum laude. Esri Allen Lutz, summa cum laude. Madeline Nicole Ritz. Camden Alex Steets. Veronica Vages, summa cum laude. Elizabeth Randolph Warburton, magna cum laude. Sarah C. Young, cum laude. The following students are receiving their baccalaureate degree in criminal justice administration. Dr. Donna Cochis, chair. Jeremy Robert Adams. Sarah Elizabeth Agins, summa cum laude. Sabrina Butler. John Thomas Dorfel, summa cum laude. Shannon Regina Dormer, magna cum laude. Tyler Joseph Guinan, cum laude. Zachary Leland Harding. Dennis Hernandez. Jack Thomas McCabe, cum laude. Samuel Thomas Petro. Michael Francis Post. Ethan John Wright. Alex Kenneth Zimmerman. The following students are receiving their baccalaureate degree in Media and Communication. Dr. Linda Maisel, Chair. Layla Danis. John Alexander Davis. Ezrin C. Gibson. Sydney Marie Paz, cum laude. Laura Ruth Perry. Javon Lloyd Anthony Speed. The following students are receiving their baccalaureate degree in interdisciplinary studies. Dr. Brian Lutz, Program Coordinator. Michael Tack. The following students are receiving their baccalaureate degree in secondary education. Dr. David Timoney, Chair. Rosemarie Evelyn Allicock. Samantha Diane Altieri. Joshua William Bethard, magna cum laude. Claire Eleanor Brown, magna cum laude. Zachary Philip Bullis. Kelly Marie Hallman, cum laude. Amber Hughes, cum laude. Tiara Dwight, magna cum laude. Julia Marie Piancone. Mackenzie E. Rickerhauser. Adriana Rose Ruggieri. Renee Stillwell, magna cum laude. This concludes the graduates from the School of Business and Humanities.
President Gallo, these students have completed all their degree requirements and have been approved and recommended by the faculty and Board of Trustees to be awarded their degrees.
Thank you, Dr. Osolowski. By the power vested in me by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and as president of Delaware Valley University, I'm proud to confer upon each of you the various degrees for which you are qualified, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto.
Thank you, President Gallo. Graduates, now that President Gallo has conferred your degrees upon you, please move your tassels from the right side to the left side of your caps. It is my pleasure to present to all of you the Delaware Valley University class of 2021. Congratulations to each of you. The university is very proud of you on becoming our newest alumnae and alumni. Graduates, reaching this milestone is possible because of your hard work and sacrifice. We don't walk life's paths alone, however. Your families and friends have supported you every step of the way. Some of them are here with us today. Please join me in extending our appreciation to them. Just like your family and friends, your professors, the Del Val faculty, as well as our staff, helped you reach this pinnacle. Please join me in expressing our appreciation to them for their instruction, their mentorship, and their commitment to your success. Lastly, I thank everyone from across campus who came together to make this weekend possible. A special thanks goes out to Andrew Moyer, who led our commencement planning and implementation efforts. Congratulations to our newest alumni, the class of 2021. Please stand for the alma mater, sung by the Delaware Valley University Chorale and directed by Dr. Marie Tavianini. This concludes our ceremony. Please remain standing for the recessional and remain at your place until the platform party and graduates have recessed. We'd encourage you to meet your family at your vehicles. Congratulations again to everyone.